Hello and welcome back. Now today we'll be doing a brief breakdown on Nthabiseng's statement. I've been wanting to do this, but I started recording about the trial after she had already finished with her statement, so I've been meaning to go back. So basically this is one statement, that testimony that I believe that will win the case for the defense team, honestly, because of the things that she's saying are consistent with everything that is being brought forth. Now, yesterday I posted a video of Senzo's brother, which is Senzo Meyiwa, when he had to say what he thought about the trial so far. Basically, Senzo doesn't agree with the case being alleged that there were intruders there. He dismisses everything that has to do with intruders. And basically, when you compare what he is saying and what the witness from the state itself is saying, which is Nthabiseng, it kind of makes sense, because of the two just don't make sense. What the other witnesses like the Khumalos and the friends are saying versus what she is saying just doesn't add up. So here's a quick breakdown as to what Nthabiseng had to say in her statement or her testimony. She first starts by saying that she was outside by the time that the incident happened. She was seated inside her friend's car and she wasn't obstructed by anything on her view, and she was seated just behind the driver's seat and her friend was sitting in the driver's seat. So she wasn't looking back or anything, she was facing forward and she was in the car while the incident took place. So Nthabiseng is the front opposite neighbor of the Khumalos. So just next to the Khumalos is the Nthabiseng, and in front of the Nthabiseng, just direct opposite, will be Maphiri or Nthabiseng's house. So then she was just parked outside of the yard on the street itself. So she admits that she had a clear view into the house of the Nthabiseng and into the house of the Khumalos. So this is what she has to say. So this is what she says. She says that while they were parked outside in the car, she first heard a gunshot. So she wasn't sure, because of, she says that they started debating, her and her friend started debating as to was that really a gunshot. So she said she first heard the first gunshot go off, and then she saw somebody passing by her, like a person ran past them. Now, as she saw this person running past them and after the gunshot, she says that she was trying to convince her friend that that was a gunshot, telling her that she grew up near the hostel and they would hear these gunshots go off all the time. So while they were debating this, she says she then looked and saw two more people running past her, and she could tell that one of them had dreadlocks on. Now, after these two people had passed by and one of them having dreadlocks, this is when she then heard the two last shots. Because it is alleged that there were 3 gunshots that went off. So she says that this is when, after those two people went past her with one having the dreadlocks, that's when she could hear the 2 gunshots. So the people first went by her, and then afterwards, that's when she heard the last 2 gunshots. Now she says that after hearing these, now they concluded that yes, these are gunshots, and given the fact that people now were running like up the streets, so they thought to themselves that they should get out of the car and run into the house instead. So at that time, and this is when Zandile appeared over the wall and she started calling Nthabiseng. She said, Nthabiseng, Nthabiseng, and this is when she let her know that Senzo was shot inside the house. So when this happened, Nthabiseng says that because they were seated inside the car with her friend's child, which was less than a year old, so she grabbed hold of the child, and this is when Zandile left the actual yard and went outside of the exit or the gate point where it was supposed to be, and then this is when she approached them in the car, and they all went, the 3 of them and the baby went inside the Maphiri's house. So this is when they met with Maphiri, who was inside the yard, inside the house, in her room. So Zandile said that she called out to Mapili first, who was standing by the line, and Nthabiseng says, no, we went inside and we found Mapili inside. And this is where Zandile then explained the whole story to us. Now let's go back. Nthabiseng says that she saw she heard the first gunshot, and then she saw one person running past her, and then afterwards she said short while two more people went past them, and she identifies one having dreadlocks. Now this is where I believe the state called her in to confirm that those people were present, and she as a witness did see somebody with dreadlocks. But other than that, everything else blows the state's case off, because of she then says that those people went past her first, and then only after running past her, this is when she could hear the other gunshots. Now they did ask her, Advocate Mshololo did ask her, did you see anybody else come out of the Khumalo's house other than Zandile Khumalo? She says that nobody came out except for Zandile, and she affirms, even Zandile affirms that she called out to them. So she affirms that nobody came out of that house even after the gunshots, but only Zandile came out of that house. She further stated that she never saw Mtogosile or Mtogosis. Okay, Mtogo, it said that on his statement said that he went past the second intruder while it was during the scuffle day, and then he went outside. Then the second intruder chased after him. Nthabiseng was outside while all this was happening, and Nthabiseng says that she never saw none of that. Mtogo says that he ran outside. He didn't even jump over the wall to the Ngashes. No, he went via the gate, and then he jumped into the Ngashes house. Nthabiseng, who was sitting opposite the Ngashes house, never saw this and never saw Mtogo. Meanwhile, we are told that when the intruders came in, Longwe pushed the intruder who had the gunshot and went past the second one who had a knife, and they let him just go, so he ran outside. Now where is Longwe? Nthabiseng, who's sitting outside, doesn't see Longwe. Okay, maybe Longwe might be the first person that ran out when she says that the first gunshot, she first heard the gunshot and then she saw somebody running. Okay, let's assume that was Longwe. But Longwe, on his statement, he says that he went outside the yard and then he stood out there for about 30 seconds and then he went back inside. This is what Longwe told us when he was interviewed. And let's consider these facts now. So where was Longwe's car, and when did Longwe take his car? And when he ran outside, where did he go? And why didn't Longwe ask for help? And the intruders, when Longwe went outside, why didn't they both follow him? Because of they didn't know what was Longwe going to do, or because Longwe by him running outside of the house jeopardized the whole operation on its own. Because of they don't know if Longwe will call the neighbors or whomever that he's gonna call. If Longwe maybe had a gun and he's going to get his gun from the car, I mean, why would they continue with the robbery when Longwe left the house? This doesn't make sense. And the fact that these intruders only came after Longwe happened to have arrived there, that on its own is suspicious. I mean, who else had the motive to do this? Because of Longwe, we know that he showed up at Senzo and Kelu's place the night before, and then he left. So it makes sense that he would have been enraged by the fact that there's another guy there and his girlfriend is also sleeping over there. I believe the story that Senzo Meyiwa was telling us that Longwe assumed or believed that Zandile was cheating on him with Mtogo. This makes sense. This whole thing makes sense. It lies with Longwe and nobody else. Now guys, look at all these facts. For me, honestly, this statement is the one, this testimony is the one that blew the whole case for me, and it makes sense with everything that people are saying about this case. Not to mention the fact that the first officers, Sergeant Mteto and Matebula, refused to even confirm that they were riding with Nthabiseng and Makhula when they came back from the hospital itself. So a lot has been said, and there's a lot of loopholes here. And Nthabiseng even admitted that she was present in the house while they were conducting their investigation and searching.